When we had the meeting with the school management, I knew that it was getting real. It was then I knew that it was no joke. You see, deportation dangled in my face. As a matter of fact, it was placed on the table. Fortunately, when God prepared the table before me, deportation wasn't one of the menus. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Didi here again. And today, you already know what we're talking about given the title of this video. So let's just dive right into it. So I left Nigeria for the UK in 2022 to study, and truthfully, it wasn't my idea. It was initially not my idea because prior to then, the previous year, 2020 to 2021 actually, I studied in Canada. I done a diploma course in Canada, which would have been in person if not for COVID, So we were given the opportunity to do it online, and we had spent. It was a full year program. It was a diploma, so we had paid fees. It was like a full study, you know what I mean? But um, we were supposed to. The last 4 months of the year was supposed to be like a work placement. So we had to, if you're even in another country, you had to apply for your visa, to be able to come and study, to come and do your work placements rather, which we did, which I did, and I was denied twice. Okay, so my plan was to, save up in that year and then apply for a PR in the coming year, that's 2023, you see. And because at that time I already had a master's degree and I also had a diploma, so I wasn't ready to study. When my parents said, "Oh, come and do masters again," and also because emotionally I was not ready, I had just been denied two visa applications, so I didn't feel I was ready, you see. But then I prayed about it. I told my now husband, and the course is actually something I would have explored if I was going to do a short course. Because what I said I was going to do is, take short courses and maybe certifications if I was going to study at all, because I was done with studies. And then I thought I was done with studying, you know. So, yeah, I put in for it and then it went through. I got admission, the visa application went through, and I was on my way to the UK. Yeah. Um. Okay. Yeah. Before then, I paid deposit and also did a part payment of my fees, like the school fees and accommodation. And this is where I get to thank my cousin, my twin, my cousin, and my friend. They actually were pivotal to my settling down in the UK. Okay. So yeah, and now the story starts. All those ones. So that was just the backstory. Now the story begins. So yeah, like I said, we did a part payment, and then I got to the UK. Hoping that, or what we had hoped is that when I get here, I will be able to work to, pay up the remaining part of the fees. What we did not know is that it wasn't easy to get a job, a 20 hours contracted job, if you know what I mean. So a lot of companies are particular about the kind of visa that you hold or that you have, you know. So it was just going to be menial jobs or something that would, and it wasn't easy to come by at the time. I don't know, but yeah. And even if you get a job that pays 20 hours because that's what the Home Office, the UK government, has given students. If you're gonna get a job that pays that, if you're gonna get a job for they're gonna be working 20 hours, the money you're gonna be paid wasn't enough. I don't think it's still enough, to take care of your bills, your transportation, your feeding, and all that. But yeah, it was still going to be something. So that was the plan. But it didn't come by easy. I would work for hours, minutes, let me exaggerate, and sometimes an hour to where I would work. And it was a menial job from there back to school or my accommodation. Thankfully, I was able to get it was a free school transport from my hostel, my accommodation to school. So that was taken care of. But then to get to the place of work, it was something, you see. and then I would work to save up the money I would have used for transport. And I also had to study. Yeah, I had to study at the time, and it was dicey for international students because you cannot afford to fail a course, to not do your assignments, or get flagged for anything at all, plagiarism, whatever, by your school because it gets to the home office and it could cause a withdrawal of your class, if you know what I mean. So I had to be on top of my game, my studying game also while still handling that. So it was a lot, and then it came time to pay for the fees. It came to that time, you see, and it was the era of Form A. Oh my God. So I had the deadline of February 2023. I think the second week to pay a certain amount, or maybe the rest, I think. And then we had gathered some money from back home because here it wasn't really forthcoming. Though I had some things, but everything we had put it in the Form A and apply for the Form A in January, hoping that something would happen. And then, of course, it was backed up with mails. I had to write mails to the fees and income. That's fees and income name. I had to write mails to them, you see. I had to text and type and, you see, let them know what's going on. So I was carrying them along and them seeking their patience and all that. So we're on the back and forth till May. First, the back and forth made me feel bad because I like when I say something and that's how it is. So because when the bank in Nigeria is giving me um saying something, I go back to tell them, and then the story changes and I say, oh sorry, it's going to be this time. So it felt like I wasn't being true to my words, if you know what I mean. It was just a back and forth till May when I got married. So I had to go back to Nigeria to get married. See. And then I visited the bank to ask what was going on. And then I was hearing, oh, there's a delay in the system. A lot of people are trying to do it. So there is a something that. I left Nigeria, I left the bank hoping that, okay, it was being handled, especially because I went there physically. And then sometime after I got back to the UK, my husband was there. I got a call from my husband because my husband had a friend that also works in the branch of the bank in another state. You see, so he called to confirm something or see if he can see something from his own end or what's happening. You see, and then he did so. And that day I got a call from my husband and he said, "Okay, um, don't. I'm about to tell you. Just calm down. We'll sort it out. Don't be upset. Be calm and all that." I'm like, oh, what is it? And then he told me that when his friend checked, the my application just got on queue that May that I went to the bank. And at that time I was hearing that we heard that it was taking months to sort, like the Form A thing. My God. I called my parents, they went to the bank, it became messy, you see. And then Tinubu scrapped the Form A thing. It became a parallel, what do they call it? Is it the parallel market where the rates at the bank and then so-called black market or something were similar or almost the same, you see. And I'm like, hey God, okay. At that time they had called for a meeting in school, you see. In courts were called debtors. Owing. And that's like something that's never happened to me when I was growing up, primary, secondary, even uni. My fees get paid even before, sometimes even before we resume. My parents cleared the bills and all that. We never owed. Our names were never called. You see, but it was what it is. It was what it was at the time. And then there was a meeting with all people owing and then the management to let us know what's going to happen. And in that meeting that day, I was just looking around. I felt, of course, prayers had gone and all that, you see. And then I was hearing that a lot of people were telling different stories. There was the period where there was flooding in Nigeria, so a lot of people, something this happened, that happened, their family members that are kidnapped, a lot of stories. But me, apart from the fact that it was biblically not right for me to do that, I'm not, I'm someone that is very cautious with words, you see. Even all the normal slangs or joke things you joke with, I would not say it. I would say the negative things, Not talk of saying something about my dad that something happened to him or something happened to something. In my head, I'm like, what if it got happen? You see? So that was not an option for me. And then they told us that they were going to suspend our school account, so we cannot submit assignments, we cannot do things on it. They're going to inform home office, and then our cast was going to be withdrawn, and all of that. Well, I think my account actually got suspended at a point, because, and also because they had, it then got to the point where they told me, oh, you've been telling us, like, I've been in quote, I've been telling stories since February. Like I said, when they said this thing, it just started looking very messy, you see. And don't forget, I said I also had to study. In the middle of everything, you have to make sure that you do not fail. You see, I have to do your assessment, your um, everything that you had to do is school. You had to do it, and do it well to the best of your ability. You see, so that was going on. There was work at the side. I was just, when I went home to funny enough, when I went home to get married, you see, at some point I was looking at myself. I'm like, are you coming from the UK or from Togo? But yeah, that's by the way. So there was a time that I was listening to one of Apostle Selman's message, you see, and there was a call to do something. I would come back to this later. I don't want to talk on it much now. So I did that at the time. And then we continued living and all that. So, like I said, they were scrapped from A, and now um, they had to send like withdraw the money and then convert it to dollars or pounds, dollars, and then send it. So I was expecting that. I knew it was coming for sure, for sure. It was going to take time also, but I knew that was coming. And um, before then, any mail from fees and income was not something I liked to open at the time. But then I still had to do an email and then explain what was going on. So the balance that was left after that money, like what was coming was not the full payment, but it was a large sum, a large part of it. But what was left, I did an email and then explained that they should give me till September 2023, and then I was gonna be, it was about 2,000 something pounds. I was gonna pay it and all that at that time. And then I got an email back that said that, oh, that we've been having a back and forth since February. They've been patient, which truthfully they have, and they might not be able to give that grace, like the extension. However, they can see on my account that I have an accommodation credit of that amount, or maybe just slightly below. So let's say the balance, or what was going to complete the whole fees, was like 2,650. What they say they can see on my account is 2,600. They said in the mail that I had an accommodation credit of an amount close to what the balance on the fees was at the time. I didn't get it. And then they told me that I was going to get a call from somebody in the finance team that was handling my case in quotes. So I waited for the call and I got the call. And look, when I heard the voice, it sounded Nigerian. In my mind, I'm like, okay, well, thank God, but I think I understand when I start begging and all that. Uh, and then when we spoke and everything, he confirmed that there was an accommodation credit in my account. And then I told him, and then he asked me my name. I told him and I said, I'm Nigerian. Apparently, he's Nigerian, he's Igbo, you see. And then, of course, I think I would think that the reason why he was the one calling is maybe because I'm Nigerian, and then they assign, okay, they have those people working for them, and then they understand what's going on, so they assign the cases of people from similar tribes or countries to them, if you know what I mean. So, however, when he told me that, he I explained to him what was going on, the money that I was expecting, and everything. Then I'm not sure if it was on that call or on another call. So yeah, yeah. He told me about the accommodation credit, and then that was it. And I kept wondering, accommodation credit from where, how? I went to check my school portal. I did the calculation of all the fees they asked us to pay, like pay this amount at October, this thing, you pay this amount, this thing, you pay this amount. I checked what I had paid. There was no credit anywhere. It was what they said we should pay. They have been paying. I went to the school fees too. Checked like Abi, my cost. The amount is not up. The amount is more than what Abi is not up to what I thought it was. I went to go and check. Everything wasn't just adding up. Then I started getting a conflict in my spirit. Call them back. Don't you better keep quiet. Call them back and tell them that I don't understand or something. You better keep quiet. I was like, another one was saying, you better keep quiet and just go with the flow. Then I called them because I said a word of prayer. God, please help me. Then I called the finance department and I asked to speak to the guy. Then I told him that that he did say that there was an accommodation credit. However, I don't quite understand where he was coming from. That he should please give an analysis or give a breakdown of what my account is reading or saying. You see, of course, I already done mine, so I can just compare. And then I said that he should just let me know, he should check my account and see where that credit is coming from, so that I can maybe know who to thank or something. Then if said, okay, then he did the analysis, he checked, and then he said he actually cannot see where the accommodation credit is coming from. That's what he said. That's somebody in the finance team. He's not my brother, even though he's Nigerian, but then I would think that somebody in an establishment working for somewhere would want to, take the glory and say, oh, maybe it's a mistake. Hold on, and then go to his manager or go to the management of the school, whatever, or the finance team and say, oh, there's this mistake, blah 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 blah, and then cancel it and then take the whole glory for it and everything. But instead he said, why are you disturbing your head? And maybe it's one of your uncles that sent you money. I'm like, what am I disturbing my head? Maybe it's because he confirmed that he cannot even see, cannot trace it, cannot see where the money is coming from. It did not add up to me. And he said, okay, then what we'll do is that when that money that I'm expecting comes, like dollar, the one that was converted to dollars and then sent, that and it enters and I pay it and it enters the account, we will see what is left on my, like the balance when they deduct it and all that. So I said, okay, we ended the call. And then the money came, I paid it. And because of the delay, there was, this exchange rate and delay, how it was going up and down and all that. And when they sent the receipt, I was what I was owing was £100. Like the accommodation credit and the one that came was £100. And I didn't understand. I'm like, so it means that even if it came, if the money came earlier, because this still took like about a month or so, if it came earlier, they probably might have been the one owing me. I don't know if you understand. Like the credit is, oh my god. And then this is me reaching out back to the team and saying that this thing. No. And I was happy I did that because I mean, if anything was going to happen at the end of the day, I say, oh, it's a mistake. I called your attention to it. I asked the team what's going on. You see, so there's no fault of mine. But that aside, because eventually when I tell people or when I told people at the time, I was like, don't touch it or yet, don't listen, they'll still call for it or they will just this is the mistake and then probably you have to rectify it. And I'm like, I told them, I raised it, you see. And that was it. £100, of course, I was able to pay that. I paid it, and then when that receipt came and I saw 0.00, my brethren in the Lord, guys, I was the day of my graduation when I walked that stage. They only called my name. And there is I could say in there, however they would the guy, God bless him, pronounced my name. I say a woman. Ever she did pronounce my name. When I walked that stage, of course, it was with tears. It was I just had a flashback of everything, and I'm like, hmm, well, that's the story. That will be all for now. I'll tell you what actually happened, or what really happened, and the highlights for me in my next video. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, share, and if you're yet to subscribe, subscribe. Also, turn on your notifications so that when another video drops, you'll be the first to know. See you guys in my next video. Bye for now.
For a thesis entitled Statutory Payment Provisions, Adjudication Processing and Enforcement Proceedings in the Construction Industry of the United Kingdom and New South Wales.
Adenrin sola, Olukanandin sola, Okusin Indi. Congratulations.